That should be better. You should be hearing me now. Now, I hope so. I should actually click the correct button to turn it on. So once more, welcome to another live map making session. I hope you're all doing fine, whether you're in the summer up north or the winter down south. And you're looking forward to another session with Campaign Cartographer and yours truly, Ralph, Chairman of Fantasy Software, and see what we can do today. All right, quite a few people in the chat. That's very nice. Good to see. And hope you're seeing the video fine. You'll see what we're going to do today on screen. We are going to dive into Character Artist, our character designer add-on that allows you to put together different heroes or monsters. And I was a bit surprised that we didn't actually have covered it in the live map making sessions at all so far. At least I didn't find a previous video. So let's take a look at that today. As usual, if you've got any questions during the session or any wishes for future live mapping sessions, put them in the chat and I'll see what I can do. We'll got people in the chat who can answer any questions. I'll try to show stuff on screen. Already had a first request there about old school Renaissance mapping black and white dungeons, basically. That's something I think I've done something on that in the past, but I can take another look at that as well. Thanks for the suggestion. All right, so Character Artist. You'll see it here on the fourth space in our add-on toolbar up on top. And you'll see it's actually one of our earliest add-ons after the base software Dungeon Designer and City Designer. It is very different, obviously, because it doesn't do maps, it does do portraits or figures of characters, and therefore it isn't used quite as often because it is pretty specialized and it is also a bit limited in extent what we can do. There's always been requests for science fiction or modern stuff to add to this, but it's in addition that not that many people use it for these things. It is a lot of work to put together all the graphics because you do have different positions, and that adds up quickly because everything has to be drawn individually. So we're quite happy with what we've got, but this is probably as much as you'll get for Character Artist. I don't think there'll be any expansions to this in the future. All right, so let's have a look what we can do with this. To start off, I'm thinking I want to create one character, a little bit of a special one inspired by my one of my current role-playing game sessions, and then also a monster to show you how to put that together, do these as a portrait, and then transfer them over to a template for printing as cardboard standees, which is one of the useful things you can do with these things in here. So let's start off by choosing a race and a sex for our character. And I'm thinking I want to not do something of the standard things. You can see we've got basically layouts for the typical fantasy races, Tolkien inspired and D&D inspired. But in the monster stuff, we do have some things for more kind of exotic races like cat people and things, serpent people and stuff. And I want to create a character based for a cat. Half cat human, or however you would call them. I think there's different names for these. I think in 30th Age they're called Elikin, and then Tabaxi or something like that in the Dungeons and Dragons. So let's try something like that. Werecats. Yeah, not really werecats because they don't transform, but stuff like that. So I'm going to click one of these, and I'm just going to go for the base body type here somewhere. Where's my torsos? There we go. And that loads up. These are a bit special because they... Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I should start a new template first. That will probably going to reset my catalog anyway. So let's go back a step and let's just create a new map first. Go to map type character, decide settings myself, click next, and then we've got the CA3 standard portrait. That will create space for one character. Click next, and I'm not going to change anything here. This is enough for most human-sized or slightly larger creatures. So I'm going to just click finish and go to my video folder, if I can actually find it. Why is it not loading any? Here we go. It's just a bit slow right now. No, doesn't find anything in desktops. No, let's do it this here. Okay, there we go. To my latest folder, and let's call this just character. Here we are. As you can see, it does set the catalog to male human. And now I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to click here and to go to monster male and load the torso again. And as you can see, we do have different types here, from skeletons and lizard man, and there's the cat man I want to use. It's a bit put together in one catalog. Normally you get a separate catalog for the normal body type, and then the large body or the strong body type and the thin body type. But for this I want, for the monster stuff, they are all put together in one. So I just have to be aware which scale I'm using here. So, and the Catman is at the default scale. So I'm gonna click that. I could use a different color to, if I wanted to have a different fur type or something, but I'm just going to go for the base coloring here. There we go. If we zoom in a bit, you'll see that it's got a bit of fur marking on it. Otherwise, it's very similar to a normal human torso, but we're probably going to cover it up with some clothing anyway. So that's just the base type for the body, and we can now switch to the legs, and we've got a option here, all with a for the tail, and then should we got this is the two hand setting. But I think I want to have separate hands, so I'm gonna grab one arm here, and the other, if I go to the other arm catalog on the other side, it's got that here, but I could also switch to a different one if I had something, or where I want to put a shield in his hand or something, or that's for the two, or the one that's going all the way across the body. So we can always change that later. For now, I'll just put something, just a straight down arm on that side. And finally, we need a face, a head, and there's our Catman head here. And as you can see, this all fits together. This is all set up so it does fit together fairly neatly. And it's also already all on different sheets. There's lots of sheets in these templates for character artists, and they sort all the shapes so that the head is actually in front of the body and so on. Sometimes you might want to change stuff, have different ordering of things, especially with the clothing and the weapons we're coming to in a moment. But you can do that simply by moving the sheets up and down. See, we've got other monstrous head here, a goblin head, something brain flancer, skeletons, demons, birdmen, lots of different things you can build. But our focus will now be fitting clothing on him and equipment and other stuff to make him kind of unique. Otherwise, all the Catmen will look like this if you put them together, except perhaps for the arm positions. So let's have a look at the body, and now I'm gonna go to, if I click this, I'm still on the monster type, and this is just the base bodies, but I do want to go to the human equipment and clothing type things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the choose race and sex again and go on to human male. And as we said, we're using the default body type, not the strong one or the thin one. So we're just gonna go for the first up here. And there you'll see the same kind of torso for humans and then clothing. This is not duplicated in the monster setting because that uses different body types in one go. And here we can have a look and see what we want to set our Catman up with. For example, if we wanted to put a shirt on him, I'll just click on the shirt and we can put this on here like this. Or if I've got armor types things here, leather armor, more exotic stuff like bone armor, crystal armor, chainmail, Roman legionary armor, or just an arming doublet to put underneath. I quite like that. I'm thinking I might just put a tunic on, or this one here, and I quite like this thieves tunics, so I'm gonna put that on him. And as you can see, that goes on the body shape just like by clicking there. Basically, as you can see, this switches to certain points here. That's because the grid snap is turned on, and it's a fairly large grid, so the mouse will normally just snap to the center point here, and the symbols of the different equipment and clothing stuff are all set up to fit that point, so they all fit together if you just put them. You can always, if you want to do something a little bit different, to move something around, you can always turn the snap off here, and then you can move the symbol freely. But in addition to the tunic, I want this also on the arms, and all the sets of clothing are usually in the arms and or legs catalogs as well. So if I go, for example, on my arm position here, the same one I chose for the arm, I do have certain arm sleeves here, and this is the sleeve that goes with the tunic. There we go. And same goes for the other arm. There's the sleeve there. And there we've got his long sleeve tunic, thieves tunic together, and we've got him there. So let's have a look whether we want to put something on the legs. Yeah, we could put on pants. And just to show you, or the hose, if I put that on and to refresh, this still looks, if you can recognize the colors are too similar to easily see it. I hope you can see it on screen. It looks like the hose is on top of the tunic, but if I do a refresh, you'll see that it's actually nicely below that. But I'm thinking I might want to keep his legs bare or just put something else on, so I'm just going to do undo to remove that. Could put some baggy pants on, though they might not quite fit the tunic. Some stuff doesn't fit together 100%, so I have to already take care of that. For example, if I put the baggy pants on, you'll see that the baggy knees extend beyond the tunic there, and it doesn't look correct. So those two clothing items will not match 100%. So let's have a look whether if we put the sandals on. Oops. There's something odd. Okay, did I accidentally scale something? Let's have a look. Click it again. Yes, somehow I'm at a much larger scale. Why ever, I'm not sure. It seems I accidentally scaled the symbol. So I need to set it back to normal so it all fits together. and I can just put the sandals on, and that way we still see his nice claws. I quite like that. Looks good. And then you've got stuff here. If you wanted to put less, you need a nice barbarian with a fur loincloth, your Scottish clansman with a kilt, and armor pieces that go together with the breastplates and stuff. So it's all in here. For example, if you have some pauldrons that go on the knees of the armor, you just put that on here and it appears on top of the other armor pieces. Just seeing a question there whether you can change the color of the clothing pieces. Yes, they all come in a varicolor version. So for example, if I wanted to use a different type of sandals, I'll make them, have a look here. If you click on the little plus, you'll see that they all have varicolor versions, actually 2 varicolor versions. Let's make it a little bit more obvious what we see here. So this one is the one that is the main coloring, or you can grab this one and that will have the varicolor on the embellishments, like see here on the buttons or whatever that is on the sandal there. So if say I wanted to have something a little light brown coloring on the sandals, I choose that, and there's our differently colored sandals on the Catman. And this is basically the same for all the item and equipment clothing. So they almost all have a varicolor version. But I'm thinking he does, as a lion man or something, he does need a little bit more of hair. I want to see whether we can put something on his head that fits this. So let's go back to the head, and as you'll see, all the heads have different hair options here that we can put on him. So for example, these, if I click on this, these all come in different coloring and also have a varicolor version. So just to show you something obvious, if I wanted to put green hair on him, I could do so with the varicolor option. So look, so for example, we could put a red brownish nice little in here, or something with a little bit of dreadlocks. And you can also always use the tabulator key to cycle through the different options. Didn't quite like that. I've got something like this here. Could use this. Sometimes, see, this has a little, if I click on that and zoom in a little bit, this has a little section to show human ears behind that, and that doesn't fit the lion's head, so that doesn't work quite right with the, but I could choose this one here. That looks odd though, or something with a tail at the back. I quite like that. So he's put his big lion's mane together in a tail. So yeah, I like that. That's fine. Good. Got a question from Caliber, were there any plans to update character artist? I said so earlier, actually. There's no plans to do that. It is just too much effort to build all the different item and clothing stuff. So you'll have to work with what you've got here. There's no plans to add more stuff to character artists at this point. Right, so I've got that, and you could also have a look whether a kind of a beard looks good on him. If I grab the full beard here, and if I would find the same coloring, there we go. But this is, yeah, that doesn't quite fit his cat snout, so this is clearly set up for the human being, so that won't work. We might have a look whether we find something like it. The sideburns could actually work. Yes, and chin, that doesn't quite fit, but here we could go in and say we turn off snap. Then we just need to log out because the insertion point is here in the center. So I'm just going to put it down like this, and then I'm going to go in and see whether I need to, I need to move this manually. So I click the move command, choose the beard, press D, and move it around until I've got a space that fits. Make it even a little bit larger. Not quite. Oh, that looks good. Good enough. There we go. And now for a little bit of equipment. And you'll find the weapons and stuff in the matching arm poses, so they do go together on the correct spot. And for example, we've got quite a few different weapons here. You can see axes and morning stars, clubs, flails. I quite like the scimitar for him. Now I'm going to go back to the snap so it does fit, and yeah, that's the default size. That looks pretty good. And then go to the other arm, and you'll find that this has some options for shields or gloves. And so I'm thinking I might want to go with a little buckler here, and let's use a hide button buckler, but we could of course go for something brownish again. Though here I'm not quite happy how the dark brown loses some of the detail. So I think I'm just going to go with a brown buckler. Put this on his hand. And we've got some adornments here. This is actually from the Viking round shield here. And normally I'd say you can also draw your own designs on that just with the normal drawing tools. But I'm just going to grab this and see it's too large because it is meant for this shield. But we can always turn on snap and resize that a little bit so until it fits. We might even rotate the symbol a bit so it looks different, and put the design on the shield this way. There we go. There's a question from Sue whether you can mirror the arm parts, so you can make a left-handed model. You can mirror the whole figure, but not the arm parts separately from the rest, because they are set up in different spaces and different attachments. So just mirroring the one arm won't make it fit correctly. You might with some fiddling, but it is especially also an ordering thing. If you look here, you'll see that the right arm is a little bit behind, and the left shoulder goes forward. And this is also the ordering of the. See the chest is, I think, above the this arm and behind this arm, and you also need the ordering of that to have it look correct. Yes, there's a comment from Kevin that you can use the character artist equipment on other maps, specifically all the symbols here. They are also separately here in the weapons catalog. If you just want the plain weapons without any of the cutouts for arms and stuff, you can just choose this catalog, and all the different weapons are in here, and you can use these just on a dungeon map, have them lying around or something. So you find them all in this weapons catalog here. There's also some options for magic, though these are originally drawn as vector symbols and then converted into bitmaps. And here we also have pre-drawn, so if you wanted to just a monster basic and then add equipment to that, we do have some pre-configured options for the different creatures. But I wanted to go to a little bit of equipment here. See if you could put the cloak on our cat man, so I could go here, cloak in the back. Oops, set to back to normal. Turn snap on again. Here we might again choose a custom color. And there we've got the cloak behind him. Quite nice. That goes with some clasps to hold it together. So let's grab this one. There we go. And we've also got stuff to put on his belt, like a dagger. This is easy to mirror, so because it's pretty simple, so I can go mirror this here, put it on the other side of the belt, and also it is correctly behind the sword. And also let's grab a pouch. There we go. So we've got some stuff on his belt. And of course you could go on and put a ball rig on him. Let's see whether that goes nicely below his cloak. Should go, yes. But here we can see we have a lot. Oh no, actually it does work as well. It was just the symbol I had still out. The dagger on the belt is in front of the ball rig. And there we have a quite nice character. You could, of course, go in and put something on his back. Say you wanted to put a bow on his back or something. I should have a bow here somewhere, or a crossbow. Take a long bow, turn off snap, mirror it, and put it on it. Just for this, you need to make sure it is correctly on behind everything else. So let's use the quiver sheet for that. And now okay, no, didn't get that. I might have gone on the weapon sheet automatically. Yes, it did go on the arm sheet. So I'm gonna just move the sheet, select the bow, and put it on the quiver sheet. There we go. Though I don't like the bow with this character, it doesn't seem to fit him really, so I'm just going to remove that again. Don't like the bow. There we are. And that is a finished character. We can use out of the box here. You could always go in and hide the background sheet to extract only that and insert it in some other document as a character image, or I'll show you how to do a paper standee for this. Here. The question whether character as it comes with animal companions or familiars, no, not as such. There are no familiars in there. That's really, would love those as well. That would be nice to have, but unfortunately not. So let's what I also want to do is I sometimes, to make it nice, have a little glow or drop shadow. We've got one sheet set up for this here. And what you can do there is, the easiest thing is just to grab and copy everything to that sheet. And this way everything will do the shadow. Select everything, do it, put it on the thicker glow sheet. Turn on sheet effects. And now you'll see you've got the little bit of a glow here blending the shape into the background and also the darker inside glow from the border frame. And that makes a nice export to use somewhere. So much for our cat warrior. And now I want to create a monster similar to this. I could just create a new shape for this, but I'm thinking I might also just add this in the same drawing. so I can see the size adjustments, or I might make perhaps the monster larger or smaller, so I can see compared to this character. So what I'm going to try is I'm just going to try to extend our mapping area, resize drawing area, and just make it double the width. Oh, actually, yeah, that doesn't quite work like that because this is set up to be a fixed size. And it will adjust the other extent as well if I do that. See, it's automatically doubled both sides. So what I'm going to do instead is I think I'm just going to use the, gonna thaw everything here, all the layers, and do a edit, reshape, stretch. I want to stretch this side of the frame. Combine, do it. Select all the nodes I need to stretch, and then I'm just going to stretch from here to here, double size, and there we are. And now I can build my second character here right next to the first one. Yes, Quentin says you can do scaling in different dimensions, where you actually make the X direction larger and keep the Y, and then in that way make thinner and thicker, wider characters. Let's see whether we perhaps can create a fat goblin or something like that. Or let's see, really fat won't quite work, but at least a broad goblin. So let's have a look and go into our monster parts again. And start with the, let's start with the head this time. Set it back to normal first. And see that's the same size. You see the head is the same option here, but we might also just independent and make this somewhat wider. Let's do it like this. And I'm gonna scale the goblin down later. So I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna go for the monster male here again. No, now I'm at the, no, I need to go here first, monster male, that's where I'm looking at. And then the body type. Here we are, there's our goblin. And you can also see he does look not fat, but broader than the cat person. The legs, let's grab the goblin legs, and then to keep it easy here, I'll do, I'm a bit confused, I should have double arm, but I think it could be that the monsters don't have a fixed 2-arm position there. We would go for this arm and this arm, and that way we do get a double arm, both arms holding one weapon. For example here, let's what shall we give him? Let's have a look. Corner staff, warhammer, trident, halberd, the maul. But it, actually those the monster arms don't quite fit this. What we're going to do, we'll have a look. I'm going to turn off snap, zoom in a bit, and make this a little bit larger. And there we are. And that should fit nicely. There's the hammer our goblin has. Set to normal. I just I know why that doesn't quite fit, because now we are with the different scaling that will make the double arm things not quite fit there. All right. Well, this works fine. And then we are gonna go Another question. What do the HM marker? This is for human male. In here, this is just to make all the symbols, the names unique, because you can't have symbols with the same name in the same drawing, and we have several different bastard swords in there. So this HM2A means human male figure, 2 arms, and this is just a marker to have these being unique. All right, I do want to do an armor for our, and I think now we need to switch to the human male figure again, because the monster catalog doesn't have the armors. And here we've got a hide armor here with, I think, or the bone armor. I think the bone armor looks good on the goblin. There we go. And let's have a look at the arms. Scroll down here. There's the bone armor for that arm, and for the other arm, bone armor. Oh, that was the wrong one. I had this arm here. See, if something doesn't fit like that, it's probably because you're in the wrong arm catalog. There we go. And some boots. Oh, I could just leave him. I think a goblin barefoot is also quite fitting. So he's a pretty, looks like a quite nasty goblin champion or something. Let's have a look whether we can put something else on him. If we do a big belt on him like that, we can of course always just grab one of the weapons and put a naked weapon on his belt. Although, see, this goes on the arm sheet automatically. We might want to put that on its own sheet behind the belt. So let's have a look on where we've got the belt sheet. Belt there, belt weapon. So let's move the belt weapon up once so it's behind the belt, and move the dagger here to the belt weapon sheet. I can find it again there. And that's how you change the order of things. I didn't have a but what now I've changed it here as well, and now this dagger is here in front of the ball rig, because that's on the belt sheet and that's the belt weapon sheet. So what I'm going to do, I could create a new sheet and stuff, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and move this to the belt sheet instead. Or I could put it on the pouch sheet, and that way it should be correct again. Yeah, there we go. And now I want to rescale this guy a little bit, make him smaller. So I'm just going to grab the move button, click, do it, select the origin here, and now I can scale him down. It's perhaps a bit too small. Let's make it like this here. There we go. That's probably an appropriate size for a goblin. But I do want to make it a little bit wider now again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do scale, non-visual scale XY. Select the goblin again. Do it scale X 1.1 and Y 1. Choose here the center point. And now the goblin is again a little bit wider. If I do it any further, it'll probably look wrong and not really anatomically convincing anymore. We are kind of at the border here, so I think we shouldn't make him any wider. There we go. So we've got our cat warrior and our goblin. What I also want to do is I want to put him on his for his shadow, for the glow around him, put everything on the figure glow sheet. There we go. And there's our goblin on the same as the cat hero. Alright, so that's next step is let's put this on a paper standee. For that we do have some nice templates that come with Character Artist. So let's save this first. File save. And now I'm going to do a new map. Character again, but now I'm going to choose pick a predefined template. Because the standee sheets are all predefined. Click next. And here we are. You might not get into this folder right away. If you don't, you need to select path, and you can see here where the folder is. It's underneath your C3 Plus folder, and then in the templates, and then in the character subfolder of that. And here's various pre-scaled templates for different paper sizes. You can of course always rescale that yourself, but we've included some common sizes to start with. We've got 50mm, we've got 25mm, and we've got 28, 30, and 38, 50mm. And there we go. We've got single ones for metric and imperial measurements every time. And I'm just going to grab a 30mm, I think is going to be fine. This one here, 30mm, is nowadays almost all common miniatures are at least 28mm for a dungeon designer, and we can make it a bit larger because our figures will be realistic scale and not heroic scale. Like in miniatures, you usually have the arms and legs and basically the extremities a little bit exaggerated in size. This is not the case with our character artist figures. So to make them, you might want to make them a little bit larger than if you're using them together with any miniatures. And here we are. And here we just need to copy stuff over. So let's have a look. Save this first, file save as. And this is going to go in my video folder again. Here we are. This time I can find it right away. And just call this standees. And now I'm going to go back to the previous drawing here, character. And now I'm just going to use, because I don't need them all on the different sheets, I just need them on one sheet. So I'm going to hide everything but the figure glow. That's the convenient thing of having them already on there, all on one sheet. And I'm just going to grab the first one here. I probably can grab them both at the same time. Let's grab them at the same time. It makes it a bit easier. Choose a snap point here, and then go to our standees drawing. Not save this. Control V, and then just put them on here. And there they are. You can see that the goblin is a little bit off center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him a bit. And if you're thinking you want them a little bit larger on the standee, you can also of course do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rescale them a bit just for visibility. There we go. And the goblin. There we go. So much for that. And now what I would like is basically a silhouette on the back side of the standee, so I can see what is the front and what is at the back. I could just of course copy them over mirror or rotate them on the other side, but then you basically see them from the front each time. So what I'm going to do here, actually, I think I can what has happened here, it's added all the sheets from the other drawing in here, which I don't really need. So I'm gonna remove all that and just keep the on the background sheet here. And on the figure glow sheet. And what I can now do, I'm just gonna mirror copy these so they're on the back side. This is of course needs a mirror operation, because basically you'd cut out these and fold them, and then this is the front and this will be the back side, but you fold them along this line here. So this needs to be the other way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mirrored copy. See, everything else, yeah, everything else is frozen, which is good. Do it from along this line here. There we go. Now I've got them mirrored. And they ended up on the comment sheet because I was on the comment sheet, so that's wrong. So I'm going to move the sheet prior to the. Let's add a new sheet for this silhouette. So I have them separate sheets. Up. There we go. But this is just still the same image bitmap symbols, front and same the back. I can't tell what is the front, what is the back. So how do I make these just flat colors? I can't just normally do that with the bitmap symbol, but we do have a little trick here I can do. I do need to explode them first. Basically turn all the symbols into bitmap images, and then I can do change color prior and change everything to color 31. That is the currently selected color, and this way here we've got the black here, but I just could also go for a dark gray or for a gray, refresh, and this way I do have the silhouette of the character on here. And I can also add text here at this point. I could put a name on. So for example, for that I'm going to switch. The only downside to this here with the coloring is if I go to a different color here for the moment, then I will change this, but I'm going to go back to the gray in a moment. So let's call this our cat hero. Bottom center, make it a little bit larger. We can adjust the like this, and goblin villain here. Put that on the top. And even if you add something like stats in your game system you wanted to see on the standee, you could put that on. For this I would change to a easier font to read perhaps. So let's have a look, like something like Helvetica here, and put in here something like armor class 17. Oh, that's a bit high for a goblin probably. Let's say 12 and 15 hit points. Rotate that, so I'm gonna put it on the back. Top left here, a bit larger perhaps so you can actually read that. Put that on here, and now go back to our gray coloring. And this way we have a nice paper standee. I don't even Don is complaining why the goblin has to be the villain. Oh, I do have two non-humans, so it's not human-centric. At least I have a cat person, and but cats are obviously always the heroes. There's no way around that. Okay, and see, you can fill up the whole thing with different heroes and villains to save print coloring, and then print that in one go, cut it out, fold them together, and you've got a playable paper miniature to use for both your heroes and your monsters. And that's how character artist works. I wanted to show you something else in the original. If you wanted to add little extra flourishes yourself, so you can always draw in that like in any other campaign cartographer file. So I'm just going to save the standees here and go back to our character. Here we go. Say I'm thinking my cat hero has a magical sword, and I want to show that with a blue glow or something. Oops, that is a bit far away. You sometimes get little things here. Yes, you see, you've got a little bit of a gap here because that's the monster. Hands, and they might differ slightly from the they're all hand drawn, and therefore we do have these little gaps sometimes, but you can always move stuff around to make that fit. So let's grab the sword here, move not the I want just the thought combine, or still 4, sorry, I need to move, select entities, crossing the border here, do it, there we are. Refresh, and then just move this so it is actually on the hand there. You might have to scale it down a little bit. Oh, and I'm not going to bother about that. Here, this is not going to be visible on the standee anyway, but if you're using it as a portrait, you might do little adjustments like this and to scale the scimitar down slightly so it fits the hand better. But for me, this is okay here at the moment. So I do want to make a blue glow on the edge. And for that, I'm just going to go to our... do I have anything on here? No, I don't have anything. No magic on the sheet set up. So I'm just going to add a sheet at the end here. Add magic. Oops, glow. Okay, go here to perhaps standard layer. Gonna grab a color for the magic glow. Let's take a light bright blue. Fill style solid is fine, and then I'm just gonna put that by hand here on the weapon, just on the edge. Not the whole thing. And then I'm gonna okay, I think the weapon might have gone, there's probably a name mismatch somewhere, or the arm right gear. No, yes, you can see the sheet should have gone on arm right weapon, but it had an S there at the end. That's why it's created a new sheet, and it's beyond anything else. I'm just gonna move it there to the correct place, and there we go. And now I'm just gonna my magic glow. Oh, there was actually my magic sheet. I just didn't see it. So what I'm gonna do is move to sheet, see whether I've already got a nice effect set up for that. I'm just going to move it to the magic sheet, refresh, so the sheet effects turn on the sheet effects. No, it doesn't, so it doesn't come with a preset effect. So I'm going to add I can make it fairly transparent, and then add a glow. No, actually I want to add a blur. Quick look. There we go. It doesn't look too bad. And there's my magic glow on the edge of the sword. Blends pretty nicely in there. I might perhaps increase the blur a little more. Let's have a look. Let's do it 0.2. And there we go. And there's our blue glow on the sword. And so this way you can do little embellishments. You might do stuff like put a scar in the face or writing on somewhere and some runes on a scabbard and stuff like that. And in this way you can customize your character images even further. Alright, and this way you use Character Artist. It's actually very simple to use because you just pick the different things and put them together, like one of those old paper dolls where you cut out paper clothing on some figure and stuff like that. It's fairly similar to that. But since you've got the powerful campaign cartographer in the background, you can move stuff around and do little adjustments and put the characters together that way in a more unique fashion. Alright, I hope you like that little excursion into Character Artist. I think we'll be back to more actual maps next week again. I hope you have a good time until then. And if you've got suggestions for what I'm doing, because I'm sometimes running out of ideas now, because I've covered almost all of the annuals that make sense covering in an annual in a video, do let me know if you want to have me show something specific. Alright, if you like our little videos, do give our channel a like and a subscribe. And keep up the mapping. Share your stuff on the forum or the Facebook group. It's always lovely to see your creations. And until next week, all the best. Bye bye.